Okay, so earlier we talked about the redox reactions. We went over oxidation, reduction, redox reactions, and we also talked about what is an oxidizing agent and a reducing agent. These are some of the important high yield ions that you should know for your exams. ठीक है, इन सब के आपको charges and सबके oxidation states should be on your fingertips. ठीक है. So cations, which are the positive ions, another name for positive ions, they're usually metals. The metals जो होते हैं, they are very less electronegative, and they're on the far left side of the periodic table, so they lose electrons easily, right? And since they have less number of electrons in the outermost shell, so they'll lose electrons. So should you need to know the charges on on each and every one of these chemical species, because you will be tested on these, frequently. And it's not really hard to remember. Once you'll practice, automatically yaad ho jati sari. So sodium is Na plus. Okay, it has a positive one charge, right? Then we have potassium. Then we have magnesium 2 plus, because they all belong to group 2, right? Sodium and potassium belong to group 1. And iron, copper, and they all belong to the transition metals. They have a variable oxidation state. So iron can exist as iron 2. It can also exist as iron 3. Okay? And these ions have a different color. So yeah, I think iron 2 has a green color, and iron 3 जो है उसका reddish color होता है. Yeah, I don't know. It's the other way around. I think iron 3 का green color होता है, iron 2 का reddish color होता है. I need to confirm. But copper जो होता है, it's also a transition metal. Copper can exist as copper 2 plus. It can also exist as copper plus 1, right? So ये आपको ना सबकी oxidation states याद होनी चाहिए, alternative वाली भी, right? So it's easier for you to just spot, instead of आप वहाँ बैठे हो एग्जाम में and then you're trying to figure out किसकी क्या oxidation state होगी. Lithium is again group 1, so plus 1, and then similarly बाकी सारों की भी आपको याद करनी. So chloride, fluorine, bromine, ये सब आपको you should know. Okay, so let's move on to ionic formula. So yeah, what are ionic formula? So ionic formula जो होते हैं ना, they are basically the so for example, if you have sodium hydroxide, okay, so ionic formula just tell you okay, what is the charge or the oxidation state of each of these chemical species. Okay, what is the charge on each of these of the atoms, yeah, each of the ions which make up the compound. So what is the formula for sodium hydroxide? So sodium, okay, sodium is Na plus, okay, because it belongs to group 1, and hydroxide ions, okay, they have one negative charge. So that's the ionic formula for sodium hydroxide. So pretty simple. Similarly for calcium sulfate, so see, I remember all of these क्योंकि मुझे बार मैंने practice की है. So when you guys will practice, so you'll know, you'll खुद भी आप लोगों को memorize हो जाएगा. Calcium sulfate जो है उसमें calcium belongs to group 2, ठीक है, and then we have sulfate. Sulfate ions have a negative 2 charge, ठीक है. So this is calcium sulfate. Then we have the copper 2 oxide. So this is copper 2, right? So it is basically specified that copper has a positive 2 charge, right? Copper 1 भी होता है and copper 2 होता है. Say there's no copper 3, sorry. So copper 2 plus हो जाएगा, and oxide है, ठीक है, तो oxide में O आता है and oxygen has a negative 2 charge, right? So for example, if you consider sodium chloride here, sodium chloride is written as Na and Cl negative, and this is like the molecular formula. So you only need one of each to balance out the charges. Okay. So if you know the charge on sodium or the chloride ion, okay, you can just calculate the charge on the other ion. So okay, मैंने एक rule बताया था. Can you repeat that rule, Aslan? That the sum of charges
Equal to the total charge.
equals to the total charge. Exactly. So if you have an ion, okay, for example, you have OH negative ion, the sum of the charges on these individual atoms will equal to the total charge. So now we have aluminium hydroxide. Okay, aluminium hydroxide Al3 plus and OH negative. So OH negative because there are three OH, right? So, and we have one Al. So basically we have three negative charges here. So, yeah, and these also cancel out. And the aluminium hydroxide basically is overall it has a charge of zero. It's neutral. So let's just try a couple of these. So can you tell me the formula for the first one? Maha. Maham. Can you tell me the formula for the first compound? Maham, your mic is mute. Okay, if you are having problems with your mic, so you can just type your answer in the chat box. Okay, Aslan, can you try maybe this one?
Fe2 plus.
Hmm?
Fe2 plus.
Okay, and
O2 minus.
okay, now can you tell me, okay, think about it again and tell me what is the problem with this formula?
There's 3 irons.
No. It's iron 3. See, iron is a transition metal. Okay. And transition metals have variable oxidation states. Okay. They can exist in different oxidation states depending on the compound they're part of, right? So iron 3 जो होता है ना, iron 3 का मतलब है it is this iron. Okay. It is Fe3 plus instead of Fe2 plus. See, now the question just above this one tells you that it's iron 2 oxide. That means it's the iron 2 plus form of iron. So इसका formula Fe3 and O2 negative होगा, right? What will be the molecular formula for this uh, iron 3 oxide?
Fe3 plus.
No, no, the molecular formula, not the ionic formula.
3Fe
हम्म ठीक है.
plus O.
No. So right here इसका सिंपल सा एक ट्रिक होती है कि if you figured out the ionic formula, so you just cross multiply. ठीक है, so Fe3 plus है, so this will just go here, so you have three oxygens, and then Fe2 O2 negative है, so this will just go here, so it is Fe2 and O3. So yeah, that's simple. Understood?
Yeah.
Okay, and what about this one, iron 2 oxide? इसका क्या होगा formula? First tell me the ionic formula for this. Ionic formula for iron 2 oxide.
Fe3
Hmm.
plus.
No, it's iron 2.
2 plus.
Yeah, Fe2 plus. And O remains the same, O2 negative. Now, what will be the molecular formula?
Fe2.
No. See, once again, you just apply the cross multiply rule. Fe. Now, it may be tempting to just write Fe2 O2, right? But this is not a simple whole number ratio. So these just cancel out. Again, it's just FeO. So yeah, this is iron 2 oxide. This is the formula of iron 2 oxide, right? And this is the formula for iron 3 oxide. So yeah, there's a difference. Okay, let's try one more. Uh, let's see. Let's try a harder one. Hmm, okay, not hard वैसे कोई भी मुश्किल नहीं है इसके अंदर, but Let's try this one. So what will be the formula for this one, Maham? Maham, can you hear me?
Yes, before the mic wasn't working.
Okay, okay, no problem. So can you tell me the ionic formula and molecular formula for this?
C CU2 plus